All right. Guess we can move this over here. All right. I think we're good. I think we're chilling. It's good coffee. Okay. Is there a way to... This doesn't really matter. All right. We here, baby. We're here. Sand streams, you know? We're back. We're back. So, what's the GP? What's the plan? Essentially, I mean, for the next 2 hours or so, we're just going to kind of work on... Well, first and foremost, I'm going to kind of break down a little bit of my thesis project. And this is what I'm going to be trying to stream a bit more about, just sort of the progress on it. I'll touch on, you know, what are the components to the project, like what it's about, my progress so far, what I've gotten done, and what I want to do, and so on and so forth, you know. So pretty simple in that sense. Yeah, but this will be something new, you know, something new for me. Granted, I don't have much to go off of. I mean, I do, but I don't, because there was a lot of time that was taken into trying to figure out what the hell I was even going to do in terms of the topic of what my thesis was going to be about. So that was a bit, you know, challenging. Let's see here. Let me open up. Get a new tab open. Close that up. And you already know, we got the LoFi vibes going, you know? Gotta love it. Just give me a second, bear with me here. I'm just gonna open up my sort of project file, what I have. And this will be good though too, because it'll allow me to sort of talk it out for myself, honestly, and kind of just be able to kind of figure things out, you know, for myself in a way. Okay, so I guess we could show this. Yeah. All right. So let's begin, huh? Shall we? Okay. So essentially, the project that I've been sort of thinking about doing for class is, or for my thesis. For those of you who don't know, I am in the graduate program at my college. I'm working to get my master's in graphic design. So of course, you know, towards the end of that road, you have to do thesis, right? You have to do something, some type of project, something that sort of potentially challenges a certain idea in the creative space, you know, or maybe work on it, just like a sort of series of artistic things, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be something that I think necessarily challenges something. I'll kind of go back to the wide here for a second, because just so I could kind of break down exactly the premise of it. It's essentially being able to create something, and I may be wrong here, but this is kind of the sort of general sense that I got from it, and my understanding of it is that you're essentially creating something that's going to be exhibited and shown to others. It doesn't have to be into an art gallery, but we do have an art gallery on campus, so it will be presented there. But it doesn't have to be. It could be something digital that doesn't necessarily get shown in the gallery. But it will be shown to other people. So, you know, got to create something that, you know, people will sort of enjoy. And create something that's challenging a certain idea, maybe a certain process. a certain whatever. Maybe it kind of challenges a pre-existing notion to something. Let's change that song. And yeah, that's essentially the sort of vibe that I got. Or you can be creating something that's maybe like a series of something, right? It's something that, is this ongoing thing that you've been sort of working on, and it's just kind of this collection of pieces, right? Like maybe you're an artist and you're creating these like certain stylistic like images. There's someone in my class of thesis students who is creating, just as an example, someone's creating a series of these paintings painted in a certain stylistic choice, and you can definitely see them across each and every single one of them. I think so far they have like 8 or 9 of them done, because this is something they've been doing even before the thesis. They even started the thesis, so they kind of got a jump start on that. But they're creating trees. They're trees that she sees in like parks and stuff, and the way that they're sort of presented is all kind of cohesive. That all kind of is you can tell they're part of like a series, I guess you could say. So that's like another thing you can do. And so yeah, but for me, I'm not really an artist. That's not really what I do. So it was very challenging for me to kind of figure out what I wanted to sort of work on when it comes to just what the idea even is going to be in general. It's just I was struggling very hard with that. And so eventually I kind of came around to the current idea, and I even have still a lot of the things written down for the past ideas as well. But coming back to my Millinode here, essentially I have it sort of written down here, but the concept is really just looking into the idea of creating creative medium evolution, and how AI technology in the creative space has just been another additive layer to someone's creativity and not a negative. The idea is to illustrate this additive layer, and the different pieces utilizing different creative mediums will be displayed on transparent glass, so the different layers will appear stacked on top of one another. So what do I mean by that? Or let's sort of digest that for a second. So the idea realistically is, like I sort of stated, it's this creative medium, right? Let me do Mac intermission, sorry. The idea is to look into creating the idea of evolution, right? There's all these different mediums that we've gone through. We first got into painting in 40,000 years ago. Then there was technological advances, so that then we had the printing press, right, in like the 1400s or something like that, 1500s. Then we got into photography, right, the first photograph in like the 1800s, into then video, right, into film video, then after that into digital art, and then after that into AI, right, AI generated things. And so there is this sort of notion that AI generated art is sort of killing creativity. And to a certain extent, I can understand that. But what I'm looking to kind of do is I'm in that realm. I'm kind of focusing my sort of efforts in sort of trying to display that timeline of things. Of those sort of milestones in creativity, in the creative space, with all these different mediums, right? That being painting, printing, photography, video, digital art, and AI generated art. Trying to illustrate each of those things, that timeline, if you will, right? That span of time. And so looking into demonstrating that, showing that, and sort of trying to sort of give off the idea that each of these creative milestones is just another layer to the creative space, right? Almost, it's kind of inevitable, realistically speaking. But to me, it's just another layer. Like when the photograph was first sort of introduced, there was a lot of backlash against it, because someone who painted something, what's the point of painting something if you could just take a photo of it, right? Then the video came out. It's like, well, what's the point of taking a photo if you could just now have video and have a bunch of photos put together? Then digital art came out. It's like, all right, what's the point of doing anything, physical, right? And so there was always these points where these milestones and these new additives that were added on that sort of had pushback. And I think AI generated things is just another iteration of that. Realistically speaking. And so, yeah, I'm trying to display that it's just another layer to all these different milestones. And so that's the plan. That's the goal. Whether or not that's fully sort of answers that question to the best of my ability, I still have to sort of figure out that sort of process in terms of explaining that. And I'll kind of get better at sort of wrapping my head around it. And I have a good sense of it. It's just the right words, right? Like kind of having that elevator pitch of just like, this is exactly what it is, and you get it instantly. But yeah, so, and I'll kind of just zoom in here so you can kind of see it just on the side. But yeah, then there's this sort of idea, and I was kind of just randomly thinking about this, of like this idea of like there's sort of the hands-on physical aspect of creativity, then there's the hands-on digital aspect. And when I say hands-on, I mean like you have a hand in it, like you were the person who created it. You were the sole creator of it, essentially, right? So you have the hands-on physical, right? You're creating something in the physical world, hands-on. You were the one who did it. Then there's someone who, like myself, as a graphic designer, I have a hand in creating something digitally. So it was done digitally, but it was done by myself. Then you have the flip side of it. Then you have the sort of hands-off digital aspect of things, and that's things like AI-generated things, whether it's AI-generated designs, photos, video, and I sort of like kind of list that off underneath. Then you also have the hands-off physical, and these are the things that are technically able to be done without having to touch it or whatever, right? And it's creating something in the physical world. So that's 3D printing, technically, right? Robot-made film photography, robot-made film videography, robot-made screen printing. We're not seeing too much of this, but I think this was me sort of trying to categorize the different sort of types of mediums that there are. And I kind of put myself in this area of kind of hands-on, hands-off kind of thing, and digital versus physical, right? Those are kind of the two sort of criteria, essentially. And so, because the reason why I was trying to look at that was that I needed to sort of figure out, okay, how do I display these different mediums, right? These different mediums, these different milestones on these different layers. And if I can't represent all of them, how do I represent at least all of them collectively, even though one of them might get left out? And that one specifically being film video, like just film, right? Because that's going to be very difficult to sort of display that in the sort of sense that I have. My imagination for the installation inside the art gallery, that part's going to be a bit tricky. And by tricky, I mean just I can't see myself doing it. I don't know how that would work. So specifically video utilizing film and stuff, it's just it doesn't seem to be possible in the way that I'm doing it, but which is fine. I don't have to do that. I don't have to represent every single different type of medium, because I'm sure there's going to be certain things I'm leaving out, right? I'm being very sort of general with the ones that I've chosen. So I was trying to see if by representing them in these different categories, am I kind of still getting a good range, right? So hands-on physical, I have painting in there. I have technically film photography and film video, right? Screen printing as well. Those are hands-on physical things that I can create, right? Then the hands-on digital, I have graphic design. I have digital photography, typical printing, right? Just, utilizing a regular like ink printer. The other one being a digital video, but that one I probably can't do. Same thing with film video, probably won't be able to do that. But that's fine though, because I have the hands-on physical and the hands-on digital stuff that are sort of taken care of. Then you have hands-on or hands-off digital, which that's AI generated things, obviously very easy to do. And then we have hands-on physical, which that one, there's the 3D printing aspect, and I might do some 3D printed parts for this to kind of get us a full kind of scope at the end of the day. All right. So that's the idea. What the hell am I going to show? Well, I found these images online. I found them to be super, super interesting, super dope. And I'm going to take a quick pause here because I just want to double check something. Just bear with me for a second. Quick pause. Okay, I don't know if I had to do that or not, but we're doing that, so. Can I refresh this part of the stream? Let's hope that I can. I think I can. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I just had to change something. And then we're just gonna double check one more time. I just want to make sure. Okay. We're chilling. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so. W. So where was I? So, yeah, I found these images online, and I found them very sort of interesting, and I kind of think that they truly sort of encapsulated what I was looking to sort of incorporate. And the idea is that, and I could show off this sketch of, I have this idea of having these pieces of layered glass. So there's a bunch of pieces of glass, and on each piece of that glass is a different layer, right? That different medium that is on that piece of glass. And then what you would then do is have all of those pieces of glass sort of stacked up sort of next to each other. And then when you look through them, the idea is that each of those pieces would sort of work together. Now, this is not anything new in terms of what I've just seen, right? Like, I've seen this before. So, again, this isn't anything new. But I think the one component that I sort of wanted to sort of introduce to kind of make it a bit more unique is the idea of, because I got this from the idea of just Photoshop in general. Photoshop allows you to, the way Photoshop works and a lot of other digital sort of creative softwares is that you do things in layers, right? You add layers on top of layers on top of layers. And a lot of times, especially digital, you could just hide them, right? You can get rid of them, move layers around, right? And reorganize them. And yeah, so with that in mind, I wanted to create something that allowed you to also do that at the same time. Be able to change the layers up, create something of your own, be able to hide layers at the same time. And so I had this idea of, specifically in the image on the right, and we'll kind of, let me click into this one. Yeah. So the idea being that there is these pieces of layered, just these pieces of glass kind of slid in, right? But then there's also this sheet, this completely opaque sheet of, it could be just, for right now, let's just say like it's a piece of cardboard, you know what I mean? Like it's just spray painted black or something. And that acts as the divider, and that divider sort of blocks off the different layers. So there's going to be these extra grooves that you could slide in specifically this layer so that you can change the order of the different glass frames. So you can put, the painting be the first layer, then the digital art in the second layer, and then the screen printing layer in the back, and then in between, you can reorganize the order of them, but you can also hide the different layers as well. So you can insert this black cardboard, piece right in the middle, for example, and be able to block off half of the other ones and then only show the first couple. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like you're seeing the ability of essentially being able to hide layers and also be able to rearrange layers. And so I got that inspiration from sort of just digital art really in general. Because typically in the physical, you kind of can't rearrange things for the most part. Like traditionally, in art, like when you're creating a painting of some kind, it's layer by layer, and you can't, it's additive. You know what I mean? You can't necessarily take away at that point, other than just completely restarting. You know what I mean? There's not that flexibility. It's destructive at the end of the day. And so, but in the digital sense, you can make it non-destructive. You're able to change things around, hide things, unhide things, and so on and so forth, and not lose any quality of it. It's not different by doing that. You could put things exactly the same way as they once were, essentially. Compared to obviously in the real world, adding those layers, technically you can never get to that same point again. So yeah, that's the idea. That's the hope. That's the plan. Is to create something on different layered pieces of layered glass that you're able to kind of also reorganize in this sort of structure. And at the same time, be able to hide them by inserting this black sheet, or maybe a different color. Maybe it's like red or something like that, because I want to keep it kind of on brand, something like that. So maybe it's a red sheet or something. I was also thinking as well. But that's the idea. And in terms of actually doing it, I think one of the ways this is just like a rough sketch that I did, where there's a bunch of grooves. Obviously, there's this one large block at the bottom, this large bottom piece here, and there's all these different grooves in here. So there's gaps for the glass and the divider. So each of those pieces, and then on the top, so you have that bottom piece. Then you have obviously those pieces of glass. But those pieces of glass at the tops of them, they have these blocks, and now these blocks, these long pieces of like a block or whatever, there's obviously the cutout for the glass, but it's bonded to that piece of glass. So you can't necessarily take that top part off. That top part for that one specific piece of glass is they're stuck together. And so the reason for that is that when you inserted them, it forces the person, because again, this is supposed to be an interactive piece in the art gallery. That piece would force the person to put it in a certain way. It would force them to put it in such a way that there's a gap in between each of the in between each of the pieces of glass. So you couldn't put them side by side. There would have to be an extra groove in between, because you couldn't necessarily slide that one in, if that makes sense. So when you slide it in, because of the thickness of that top piece that it's connected to, it forces you to insert it into a particular set of grooves, and in a particular set of there has to be a grooved gap in between it, basically. That's so that it allows that space to be available for the divider, for that black sheet to be slid in between if you wanted to, or maybe you don't, right? That groove will stay unoccupied, but it has to be available it has to be available for the divider to be put through. And so that's why the top grooves they wouldn't be all one piece. They would be connected to the glass specifically. So that's what I got so far. I know that was kind of a bit long-winded, but yeah, that's basically what I got so far. In terms of what's the plan to do right now, to be totally honest with you, I don't know where to go from here. I mean, I was thinking about maybe there's a couple things. We can sort of start to figure out exactly the dimensions of things. So first and foremost, just figuring out this piece needs to be the pieces of glass are going to be square shaped, or they're going to be more in a landscape format or in a portrait sort of format, because I'm not actually too sure, to be honest with you, currently. So maybe we can sort of figure out exactly those dimensions. and maybe pull out the goddamn ruler and, you know, start messing with that and start figuring out dimensions for things. The other big component, obviously, is the image, right? The thing that we're going to display. And currently, right now, this is a heavy inspiration for me in terms of how that's going to be done. I was definitely thinking, and I sort of noted it here, like you have your photography. So there's like the artist-made photography, then there's the AI-generated photography, right? Then you have your abstract painting, which can be done by the artist, but then also the AI as well. Then you have your typography, so you can add that on top of that, one by myself, and then something AI generated as well. So yeah, and then also generated text or texture, which can be done by me, but also AI as well. So sorry, what's good, baby? You moved from Twitch to YouTube, boss man? Not exactly, no. I mean, basically the idea is that I stream on YouTube for design streams, and for my gaming streams I'm on Twitch, and the reason being is because I want to give both a good shot. Eventually I will stick to one, but right now I'm kind of just in between because, you know, just trying to feel it out, because obviously on Twitch I'm affiliated, but on YouTube I'm not, so I can't just completely give up on Twitch. Like, you know, there's we made a lot of progress over there as well, so can't just completely give up on it. But yeah, want to catch your streams, was never sure when to catch you or where. Yeah, I apologize for that. Granted though, I haven't been streaming, like I'm only back to streaming now for the past couple days. Prior to that I haven't streamed in like 2-3 weeks. Like I was completely MIA. So if you couldn't find me, that was also partly the reason why. I'm not doing anything right now. So, but we're back now. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of me, a lot more consistently at least. So yeah, but either Twitch or YouTube. Twitch specifically for gaming streams, and that's in the late night anyway, 10:30, like at night, just EST and stuff like that, like PM. That's where you can find me on Twitch. But if we're doing design streams like during the day, it's going to be here on YouTube. Hopefully that kind of clears up. Maybe I'll have to create like a schedule or something like that to be able to put that out. But yeah, how you been? Hope things going well. They've been all right, man. They've been all right. I mean, you know, kind of getting to the swing of things again, because I was struggling a little bit. Just, you know, a lot of shit going on. Just a lot of fucking, a lot of different components. Just my head was kind of in a spiral. But we're good now. We're back. We're trying to be consistent with the content and just getting work done. You know what I'm saying? So we're good. We're chilling. How about yourself, though? Hope you've been well, man. What you been up to? Anything exciting? All right. So like I said, let's try to figure out a little bit of the dimensions of this goddamn thing. We could do some sketching, but I won't be able to show that on my iPad currently with the setup that I have. So we're just gonna do things here. Whoa. I forget it's like super big when like, because I'm like super zoomed in right now. I don't know why it's kind of lagging as well. Love that. Been well. School has been a hassle, but I had a week off. Of course, I was sick when I was off, so I feel better. I feel I deserve an even longer break. Yeah, no, that's so unfortunate. That's really fucking annoying. The time when you're like, yes, finally, I can kind of, you know, take some time to myself, do whatever the hell I want to do, and you get hit with a sickness, bro, that's fucking annoying. I feel bad. That's fucking annoying. Hopefully you're good now, you know, and you're chilling. But yeah, that's fucking annoying though. I feel for you. But except for the holidays coming up, Christmas is going to be awesome. Yeah, man. Listen, yeah, it's always a good time being able to just, you know, reconvene with family and stuff like that, because you know what, with how crazy life can get and just how, you know, go, it's hopefully things kind of, you know, settle down a little bit just for the end of the year before we kind of pick things back up going into the new year. So yeah, holidays are gonna be good, man. Holidays are gonna be good. Got to make sure that we end the year off right, though. You know, I think that's the sort of mindset I've been at, especially going into 2024 currently. None of this, you know, New Year's resolution shit. I'm just trying to start from now and end off the year on a good note. You know what I'm saying? End the year off on a good note. Chat, I'm thinking 1 foot by 1 foot. Would it be cooler if it was, do we just make it 1 foot by 1 foot, or do we try to get crazy with it and do like a landscape? Or like, I feel like a perfect square just makes sense. I feel like it just makes sense. You got a pair of DT 990s, right? I'm actually looking to get a pair. I always seem to talk about tech in our conversations. Oh, really? I haven't noticed that. I believe I do. I honestly totally forgot. I can't even see my fucking monitor. Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yep. I just had to make sure because I totally forgot. I got these like a while ago. They're good, man. They're good. I like them. I'll be honest though, I kind of these were my first pair of open back headphones, so that was something I was not sort of used to, and I don't know. I don't think if I could go back when I ordered these, I think I would get the closed back iteration, because like realistically speaking, if you're for at least for me, the way I sort of see it, if I'm gonna put these headphones on, I don't want to be bothered. Like I don't want to hear things that's going on outside, like, you know what I mean, like I want to be locked in, zoned in, like I don't want to hear anything else. And with these, I feel like unless I'm blasting something, I could still hear because it is open back, like the, you know what I mean, like it's that's the point of an open back pair of headphones, you know what I mean, is to be able to still not feel like you're kind of zoned in, but you're sort of, you know, still in your environment technically. They've been great, no issues. It's just literally the point of the headphone. If I could go back, honestly, I'd probably go closed back. I would still get this brand though, you know. What are they, Sennheiser, I think? I don't even fucking remember, to be honest with you. But yeah, that would be my only thing though. So if you're trying to be immersed and like, you know, put yourself in that space, then I would recommend one of the closed back version. But if you like being able to be still sort of present in your environment and not feel like you're completely just like locked in, then definitely go open back. And these are good. These are great. I will say though, a little annoying though, for some reason, because I opted to get the black version where like the specifically the headphone cup is black and not like gray like the normal iteration. For some reason, I don't know why they do that, but with the black version, the cord doesn't come coiled. The cord is completely straight. I don't understand why they're different. Something I noticed. If you get the ones that have the gray headphone cup, like on the inside, the cord will come coiled, like, you know, that like tight knit coil. But the black ones, they're completely straight. So let that also be, you know, a warning if you care about that. For me though, it kind of worked out because honestly, it's kind of better that they weren't coiled because I put them through my microphone stand, and so it keeps things clean. So it was actually kind of a good thing. Curious to know trying to figure out whether or not I want to do 1 foot by 1 foot or do it like a portrait sort of sized I feel like I don't think I need to overcomplicate it. I think we just do 1 foot by 1 foot. This is exactly 1 foot. I think that's enough. I feel like that's big enough because then we're going to have multiple iterations of this. So, yeah. I don't think we overthink it. I think we just do 1 foot by 1 foot. Truthfully. Personally, why is it like lagging so much? Is it because I'm streaming? I'm just looking to get an upgrade that will replace my dad's office headphones and ones that don't break. I'm looking to save up for a SM7B soon enough so I can have my own little studio and I can just chill out. I spent most of my free time on myself, so why not max it out? No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, 110%. I totally agree with you. Like, definitely look to get things that like you know you're gonna use the shit out of it. You know what I mean? Like think of it in that sense. Like, so like for example, as costly as it was, my camera, as much as that sucked to be able to put that money down, this camera gets used so often though that it sort of kind of pays. It doesn't, I mean, technically it could pay for itself, but like, and I guess technically it has, but as an example, something like that where it's like you utilize it so often, it makes sense to get something that's nice. You know what I mean? It's nice quality. The other thing that I want to do is the chair. You know what I mean? You end up spending so much time seated at your chair, and this one makes noises too. Like it's really annoying creaks that bother the hell out of me. But kind of nothing I really can do about it currently. But at some point or another, yeah, when I get like a new chair, because it's like, yeah, it's one of those things. It's like you spend so much time at your desk. It's like, you know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do, but it's little by little. You know what I'm saying? Because that stuff gets expensive. That's for sure. All right. Why has it got to be 9? Okay. So we got 1 foot by 1 foot. Then I imagine, I wish I had something to like mock this stuff up, but sorry, because currently I'm trying to figure out like the top of the block. If we did 2 inches, all right, this is honestly where like sketching would kind of help. Actually, you know what? Let's just do a really shit sketch. A really bad sketch. So if we had something that was 2 inches, all right. 2 inches in height. We can insert a groove that's 1 inch. And still have another inch left. Okay. Alright. I like how I literally just naturally just made a house. So that leaves a 1 inch here. 2 inches wide. How thick do the pieces of glass need to be? Maybe half an inch. Doesn't need to be too much. But yeah, I think we go with that though. Potentially maybe wow. Silly shit. And then let's get another note. Dude, why is it lag so much? let's see here. I'm not a streamer, but yeah, like you said, buy things out there. If I use a ton, sure, some sort of use is just a sound you can't replicate because it's authentic and it's with it sounding bassy and warm at the same time. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely again, I mean, you know, you don't have to listen to me, but I would say look into the chair. Or like look into like the things that like I don't know. The mic for me, unless you're doing content, if you are doing content, then yeah, for sure. But if you're not doing any type of content, then I would look to do that last. Only because it is pretty pricey for what it is. And if you're not creating content, then it's just like it would feel like a waste. Like you could get away with not having something like that. And I would think about the things that to help your sort of workflow be better. So whether that's monitors, or a chair, or your peripherals, so your mouse, keyboard, like things like that, like things that you're going to utilize in your workflow, and upgrade those things. And then once you kind of feel comfortable there, then you can think about that. But if you are doing content, something you're seriously getting into, and you know for certain that you're going to like, you're gonna go like knee deep into that thing, like whatever, right? Like you're going hard into it. Then yeah, sure, absolutely, that makes sense. It's just whether or not you get into content, in my opinion. But what was I saying? 0.5 inch and thick, with the glass potentially, or maybe a little bit less. But we'll see what we can find. But that doesn't really matter. That's like probably the thickest it will go though. Is 0.5 inches. Then we have. What am I looking at? Oh, the block. Block is going to be like 2 inches. Chair's a shout. I can see where you're coming from 100%. I feel like I'm very adamant about that because like that's what I need next. Like that's 100%. I feel like that's what I need because this fucking chair is not it no more. Like, this is really not. This is really not. I mean, it's fine. It works. Of course, it's doing its job, but I don't know. I feel like life would be so much better if I had a better chair. 2 inch by 2 inch. I'm thinking wood. Like a nice looking wood. Oh, wait, no. Are we going to screen print this? Shit. If we screen print it, we're gonna go, or not screen print it, what am I saying? 3D print. If we 3D print it, it would be more legit, but I feel like it wouldn't be as nice. Because the wood would be kind of dope. 3D print would be technically easy because we could. That'd be very easy to print out. I feel like we have to go 3D printed though, for the sake of the idea. Yeah, I think we have to go 3D printed, to be honest. I mean, we can always paint it or whatever, but we'll just put like frame. Let's move this up here. Why is it? Is it just because I'm super zoomed in? Is like that why? Nah, I think it's because I'm streaming. I feel like this was never an issue before. Nah, but you know what? I'm lying though, because I haven't done a fucking design stream forever. How would I know? LOL. Let me go back in. Maybe, I wonder if it would help if I'm just gonna disable my preview. Come on, you bastard. Okay. So it's 2 inches by 2 inches. It's a 3D printed frame. The groove would represent whatever that is. So if that's, you know, 1/4 of an inch, then that inner groove would be 1/4 of an inch. They would be bonded together. And so now how many do we have? Because then this will help us sort of figure out how much space we need. So if they're 2 inches, and now how many do we need? At most, let's take a look. Let's see. So we have painting. Let's see. We have painting. We have screen printed. We have photography. Painting, screen printed, photography, typography. Then there's like a texture layer. Maybe. I'm thinking 6. That's my guess. Painting, screen printed, photography, typography, texture. I feel like I'm missing something. Am I? Oh, it's the AI generated thing. But then I think I'm just gonna implement that in some way. It's just whether or not I did it or someone or AI generated did it. Right? Or what should we do here? Do either A, have the AI generated component of this be any part of it, where it's like it could have generated the painting part of it, or the screen printed part of it, or the photography part of it, or whatever. I think that's where it can kind of get fun. But then again, that goes against with like the different pieces of it, just the layered aspect of it. Yeah, no, I don't think it could be like that. It's either, yeah. So then it just has to be okay. So it's just there's a part that needs to be. There's a painting part of it. There is a screen printed part. There's a photography part. There's a typography part. There's a texture part, and then there's an AI generated part of it. But what are they going to generate is the question. Do they generate just one of those components, like the typography part? I think so. And so if they take one of those parts, so then we need to have one more. So texture, typography, abstract, the photography portion. Or maybe not. Maybe it has to be 5. Because we can't do video because that's going to be too difficult. It's just not realistically possible. I mean, it probably is, but that's just way too complicated. 3D printing, the frames would be 3D printed. AI generated. Yeah, I guess it has to be 5. Alright, painting, screen printed, photography, typography, and texture. Those are the 5 components. And then AI generated would just be one of those 5, and the other 4 would be human made. Now, I feel like 6 would have been good though, because that would give me... It'd be 2 feet long. I feel like 6 would be dope, I think. Yeah, because right now it's 2 inches by 2 inches, like realistically. Basically, it's 10. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I'm lying. It'd only be 10 inches long. Yeah, it would only be 10 inches. 10 inches by whatever the glass is, which would be 12 inches. So that's why, yeah, I need to have one more, if possible. If I can incorporate one more component to it, that would be great. We have texture, we have the painting aspect of it, we have the screen printing aspect of it, photography, typography. What am I missing? What do I need to incorporate? What can I do? Because with graphic design, I was thinking about that part being the typography part of it. The photography makes sense. That's easy. Screen printed, I know that could be like easily like texture, or it doesn't have to be texture, it could be something else. Huh. What's this project about? Check back. In the beginning of the stream, I talk about it for about probably like 15 minutes. It's kind of extensive, but it's my thesis for my school, my thesis project. So basically, I'm trying to just illustrate the evolution of different creative mediums, that being painting, screen printing, photography, film, but can't really illustrate that because it's going to be too difficult, digital art, and then AI generated. And just trying to showcase that in a physical form. But in the beginning of the stream, I talk about it for probably like 15-20 minutes with a like small break in between, but yeah. I'm just trying to figure out what more part I could add to it. Because if I can get 6 components, 6 pieces of glass, then that would allow me to have a 12-inch or just a foot, a 1 foot by 1 foot depth. So it would essentially be a perfect cube, a 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot cube. Which then means that actually, if I want the glass to be that, like if I want the height of this thing to also be that, then technically the glass can't be exactly 1 foot high. It would have to be actually like, because there's going to be an extra inch. What's that, 1 inch? Yeah, that's 1 inch. So it would have to be 10 inches high, because then that'll account for the extra inch on both ends, which then will allow it to be 12 inches high, or a foot high. Yeah, I gotta figure that out. There's the abstract painting part, there's the texture part, there's the typography, there's photography, there's the screen printed aspect. What am I missing? I feel like I'm not missing it, but it's just like I have to figure something out to add there. I mean, maybe I could just do a design of some kind. Like the typography part. There's the typography part, yes. Like there's a sense of text that gets added to it, but maybe there's something just like geometrical that we can kind of just add on top. Yeah, maybe we do that. I'm just gonna, as an example, this, it won't have to be that, but something like geometrical, you know, pattern or something. And then let's put here abstract abstract like splatter. Didn't know how to spell it for a second. And then that introduces painting, screen printing. It's just introducing the idea of printing. Photography, obviously. Photo. I'm just trying to see what each component would actually represent. This would be digital. Typography, digital. It doesn't have to be, but maybe that's digital. Texture. Doesn't have to be digital, but that's like physical. And then that is digital. And that AI generated piece would be one of those things. Okay, I think that works. So we do something sort of like a geometrical pattern of some kind, maybe. Not necessarily like a pattern, but something that can kind of just overlay over the top or something like that. Something that's maybe like translucent a little bit, so we can kind of just layer on top. Then we have regular texture that we can put on there. Maybe like a haziness or like a fog or something. Then we have the abstract paint splatter. We have the screen printed portion, which, I mean, I need to figure out exactly what about that screen printed part is going to be screen printed, like, because that can be, it's very broad. So like that can technically be the geometric pattern. That can technically be the typography. That can technically be the texture, really, in general. Yeah, it's a bit unknown, actually. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Let me just search up like screen printing and just on Google. I mean, it's probably going to show me a lot of just like of shirts and shit, but what if what is screen printed is like something like this, where it's like it gives the person the sort of kind of like highlights and shadows that they would potentially need. Or yeah, it's I forget the fucking name. God damn it. The Ben-Day dots, I think they're called. That could be kind of fun. Let's think about that, yeah. I forgot how you spell it, but I'm just gonna put dotted shadows. Okay, actually, I think this works. I think this works. The good thing is that this allows me to sort of figure out, okay, in terms of now creating the image, in terms of what the order is, I can sort of kind of mock up a potential image where it's like, I could just mess around relatively quick in a way of just getting some type of like human model and then making it completely just like black and white, but like no grays, you know what I'm saying? And then we can incorporate that sort of that dotted shadows with the Ben-Day dots. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. How the fuck do you spell it? I don't even know if that's correct. Ben-Day dots. Yeah, Ben-Day dots. That will then reincorporate the shadows for the person. Then you have the geometrical patterns that can be done and added on top. You can add general texture to it. In terms of texture, though, I need to kind of figure out what kind of texture. Like, could be like a haziness or like a dirty. I feel like should be like a film texture. Yeah, I think. Wait, yeah, like a film. Because that actually, funny enough, that actually kind of gives a bit of a nod to the film that I wouldn't be able to do, but it's like that film texture. Basically, it's just dust and like, you know, little debris that gets on film and stuff like that. But adding film texture on top. AI generated image, which will be any of those things, but it'll probably end up being like either the human model, or it'll either be the human model, the abstract paint splatter, the geometrical pattern, or the typography. Because realistically, with the shadows, I mean, maybe it'll work, but if I give it a reference image and then it has to create the Ben-Day dots off of that, maybe it'll work, but I mean, maybe I can experiment with that. And then the film texture is pretty easy too. It should be able to create that. All right. Nice. Okay. I'm liking this. I'm liking where I'm at. in terms of just like figuring out each of these components. So then that will then allow the entire piece to be 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. So it'd just be this perfect cube in terms of like if you were to measure each of these, if you were to measure everything out. But I need to actually make sure. So with these, right, this is where a sketch will really help. Because there's 6 pieces. How many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would technically need 12, right? Okay, this is where we're gonna go into sketch. We gotta hop onto the sketch. Really bad sketch incoming. Okay. So if you have, right, this like that, boom, boom. Okay. There needs to be 6 grooves for sure for the 6 pieces of glass, the 6 layers. But then you also need to be able to hide the piece. So we're gonna create 1 groove because this is so that you can put that background, that covering sheet could be completely in the back. So you have 1 there. Then you have the first one. So that's 1, and then 2. Skip that. 3. 4, 5, 6. Okay. There's 6. And then maybe if you want to cover it. So it'd be like that, maybe? Oh, shit. I don't want to reach the whole thing, but I guess that's fine. So you have 1... So you have 1 in the back, so that's 1, skip, 2, skip, 3, skip, 4, skip, 5, skip, 6, then that. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 13 grooves. Right? One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. 13 grooves. You seen Honey Tea layoffs over the past few days? Unreal letting someone like Cecil leave. They've been one of the most influential designers. Wait, I think about some layoffs, but I didn't know that they let Cecil go. Cecil's not there no more? They had to let him go? Wait, dead ass? Oh yeah, now I gotta check this out. Hold up. Damn. They let him go. Honey Finance not looking great, TBH. Damn. Wait, because I haven't been tuning in on I guess X. Fucking hate saying that. I haven't been kind of looking at this. Wait, that's fucking wild. I just found the tweet. Unfortunately, today I was fake bad. Just a few weeks from 5 years working at a place that gave me so many great memories. Being able to step in as a senior creator for a childhood hero mine is something I'll never be proud of. I've been ready to bring my creative. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, man, that's the thing. That's like that's the blessing and the curse of esports right now. Is that like I think that's something we didn't really foresee. I think in the esports industry, where it's like it was on the up and up because obviously it started off from like nothing, right? And then it made its climb, and it made a really quick climb, and then I feel like I don't know, like did it grow too quick for its own good? Like I don't know why. Again, I'm not really too tapped in with the esports industry as much as I used to, but like did it just grow too quick for its own good and now it's kind of having to backpedal a little bit? Like because I was even seeing what I did see from 100 Thieves was the fact that they, with all the different projects that they had going on, that they took a step back and was like, okay, well, hang on a second. Like we have 100 Thieves and our apparel stuff, right? Like our esports and then our apparel stuff, but then we're also doing Juvie, and then with that we also then have the game that they're coming out with Project X, and all of this. Like they were doing a lot, and they kind of went away from what kind of made them, and they kind of like overcomplicated it probably a little bit, and so they're having to backpedal. Is part of it because of financial reasons? Probably, let's be honest. The timing seems too perfect for that, but it does make sense. So it's like I feel like they grew too quickly and tried to do too much at one time, and then now they're having to kind of backpedal a little bit. Esports won't be as big as it was, I don't think. It's not great considering there's loads of people that wanted to make their careers in esports. Right, exactly. Yeah, like it kind of makes you think for a second, like how quickly and just unfortunately how unstable the esports industry is currently. Like, you know, we don't know what's going to happen in due time, but like even people who are pretty much staples in the industry are still also being affected. Like that's crazy, man. It really is. It really freaking is. It's like, you know, it makes you have to second guess and be realistic with yourself. Like, is it something you want to risk getting into, if you can even get into it? Because it is a very competitive industry right now, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, now everyone kind of wants to be a part of it. It was a lot less known back then, so it was probably a little bit easier to get in, especially if you applied yourself. Now everyone tries to get in, so it's a lot harder, you know what I mean? So it's like you're going to put all this time and effort to get into something that isn't necessarily even guaranteed, and on top of that, there's also a possibility that you might just get laid off, just even with years of experience, you know what I mean? I mean, the good thing is that at least for someone like Sessa, for example, when you establish yourself enough and do a good enough job, you definitely have a good chance of getting back in. But again, life isn't guaranteed, so I can't necessarily say that. But, you know, with his expertise and what he's done, I'd be very surprised if he didn't land back on his feet somewhere else. But again, who's to say that, you know, it won't just happen again, you know? I don't know. Kind of crazy. Gaming is big. Esports is a big part of gaming. Does that mean gaming is getting smaller? That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's getting smaller. I just think the hype around it sort of died off a little bit. I think gaming is growing in the sense that, for example, the easiest just relatable thing, at least for me, when it comes to gaming, is that back then, when you were in school and shit, you wouldn't tell people that you were a gamer or what you played, like for the most part, unless it was like your really, really close friends. That wasn't really something you talked about. It was just something that you kind of did, and that was it. And sometimes it was, especially if you weren't trying to, like, I don't know, you know, sometimes people are assholes, right? You know, and so you were sort of afraid to kind of say that because you didn't want to get made fun of or something like that, because for some reason you were, it just wasn't really cool to talk about. But then it kind of became cool, right? Like now, then everyone started becoming a gamer. Like it was just like it was kind of cool to be a gamer. It was really weird. Like the shift was interesting, and I think mainly because like you started seeing people, influential people. Sadly, this is kind of the way the world works. You started seeing influential people publicly being shown that they're gaming, and so it kind of became cool. Easiest example I have is like when Ninja was streaming with Drake and they were playing Fortnite together, and like that was just like a huge thing, right? Or he had all these like crazy big time people on his stream and stuff like that. And I think Fortnite honestly was a big part of it. That the sort of hype that came around Fortnite, I think seriously propelled gaming forward. But what you're seeing now is that has sort of died off, and now you're starting to gain more and more popularity in just the IRL sort of streaming aspect of things. So you're seeing Kai Cenat, right? You're seeing people like Speed. You're seeing people like who are the other people? Aiden, I guess, right? You're seeing all these other people who are doing extremely well in the streaming space, who are then growing and doing all these interesting things, and they're not gaming related. So gaming is sort of starting to take a back seat, whereas before it was the thing, because you had Ninja who was going crazy, Shroud, then you had your Tim and Tatmans, your Nick Mercs, right? And they were all gaming related people. You know what I mean? That's what they did. That's what they do. And so gaming sort of in general kind of took a rise. But it's starting to sort of fall off a little bit, just because it's like it was at its peak and now it's starting to settle back to where it might kind of lay for the rest of the foreseeable future. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so maybe that's sort of why, and you're starting to see certain companies are starting to pull out from the gaming space, like sponsors and stuff like that. So it's making ends meet be a bit more difficult for esports orgs and salaries and stuff like that. You're also seeing a lot of people sort of ask for a lot of money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with the rise of gaming in general, people's salaries start getting, like, I think of pro players more specifically. The salaries that they are getting, and some of these players that are getting, for being not even like the starter on the team, just being that person that just like is like the sixth man or whatever, like, you know what I mean, is like kind of nuts. Like, you're not even on the starting roster and you're getting paid like like life-changing money for some people. You know what I'm saying? And so that money's got to come somewhere, right? And so it's a difficult structure. It's a difficult system, and I think it was a lot easier to raise money beforehand because gaming was on the rise. There's a lot of hype around it, and I think right now it's sort of dying off because there's just less people. Right? There's less things going on, and so yeah, that's my sort of 2 cents on that. But I think gaming is kind of just, I think, putting itself in the original position that it probably will be in, unless something big happens again, like another Fortnite sort of situation happens again. I don't really know, but it's unfortunate. I think this is our first real look at what the gaming industry can sort of do, the esports industry can do. And there's going to be growing pains. And I think right now it's one of those things where we took 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing, And unfortunately, that 1 step back is the idea of the people getting laid off and stuff like that, which is really unfortunate. Hopefully, though, we take another 2 steps forward kind of thing. You know what I mean? In due time. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. I had no idea that he was actually affected by that. Like I said, I wasn't really tuned in too much, so I didn't really know too much of what was going on. That's kind of crazy, though. That is crazy. Feel for the guy. I'm sure he'll land back on his feet, though. He's done too much. He's too influential for that to not be the case. All right, so we have 13 pieces here. We'll put this down here. All right, we got 13 grooves. Grooves would be whatever the thickness it needs to be, but this spacing here and here, what is that going to be? Because Because the way you can sort of think about it is that this is actually, no, not that part. It'd be from here to here. Is this going to be 2 inches? Because if that's 2 inches... There to there, then there to there, then there to there, then there to there. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's 12 inches right there. Well, this is supposed to be here, not there, but that's okay. But it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. But then I'm not accounting for like this. So it's technically not exactly. It's technically not exactly a foot. So how do we make it into a foot? We have to allocate for this extra piece here. And that's not even actually including these middle parts. I have to figure out the math on this. So then would it be thinner? I guess obviously it would have to be end up being thinner. What if they're like 1.5 inches? Alexa, what is 6 times 1.5?
6 times 1.5 is 9.
All right, so we have 9. 9 inches in just the middle pieces. Then you have this. Let's just act as if it's going to be 0.5 inches in thickness in between. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Oh. We have 5 of those, and then there's this. So that's 6, 7. So there's 7 of those. And then there needs to be this extra part here. Alexa, what's 7 times 0.5?
7 times
I apologize
0.5
if your
is
guys'
3.5.
Alexa is on and it's being heard. Can you, Alexa, can you repeat that? LOL.
Sorry, there is nothing to repeat.
Bastard. Just repeat what the hell you just said. Alexa, what is 7 times 0.5?
7 times 0.5 is 3.5.
3.5, okay. That's 3.5. 11 or 10, 11, 12. No. Because that goes over 12. So that's still not enough. That still doesn't. I can't even find my Alexa. I was supposed to plug it in earlier. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that doesn't work because with adding all of that up, that's already 12.5 inches. And that's also not equating for this end piece or this end piece over here. And what did I originally say that? Oh, I said 1.5. Alright, so what if it was 1.25, I guess? I feel like that's way too thin, though. Will that be too thin? I mean, it doesn't seem that bad. Alexa, what's 1.25 times 6? Fuck. God damn it. I didn't remember.
Times what?
Times 6.
It's about 5:18 and 23 seconds p.m.
What the fuck did she just said PM? What the fuck? How many is it? I said it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 of them. Alexa, what's 6 times 1.25?
6 times 1.25 is 7.5.
Alright, 7.5. That gives us more to play with. So 7.5. The thickness of these, I said, was, let's just say that's 0.5. So that's 3.5. So that puts us at 11 inches. Right? Yeah, math. Quick math. So that puts us at 11 inches. We have 1 inch to spare. Is this 0.5 of an inch then? I mean, it allows that to be 1.5 inches. But if I make the thing 1.25 inches wide, at these points. Actually, yeah, this ends up being a little bit thicker than what these would be, because that individual groove, if that individual groove, that individual cutout piece, if I make that 1.25 inches wide, 1.5 inches tall, and there needs to be a 0.5 inch groove in between, then that leaves whatchamacallit? What was it, 1.35? It's 1.75 remaining if we minus that. So then divided into 2. I know it won't be exact, but it's... Alexa, what's 0.75 divided by 2?
0.75 divided by 2 is 0.375.
375. So these little side pieces would be 0.375 inches. Um, 0.375. And then I was saying that these would end up being 0.75. I mean, technically, this sort of works out. That's if and only if the grooves need to be 0.5 inches in thickness. And so that would end up equating to the entire bottom base being 12 inches long. Sorry if this doesn't make any sense to you guys, but it does in my head. So I'll just have to properly actually illustrate this again. But if they end up being thicker, then that kind of just helps us in general. I'm pretty sure, or If the individual pieces of glass are less thick, so let's say instead of it being 0.5 inches thick, it's like I don't know, 125, so an eighth. That technically helps us. Oh, but you know what I didn't even think about? So people don't end up putting the thing in the wrong spot. What would help us is maybe the grooves are different sizes. So the glass is one length, but then we can have that divider be a different length. Or not length, but width or thickness, whatever. Doesn't matter. So that when you slide in, you can't slide the divider into... Maybe that'll also help. So if these end up being thinner, and these have to be thicker, it doesn't really matter because then the walls just end up being thicker or smaller. Okay, I think that works. I have to sort of re-sketch this out. The only way to like properly get this to get figured out is I have to like properly sketch this, and by properly sketch it I mean like do it on my iPad so I have like better control, because this is like really shit. But and I definitely feel like I need to create a prototype on this though, instead of creating like, maybe we'll sketch out and figure out the dimensions for just like like half the size. So we'll create something that instead of it being 6 layers, it's only 3 layers, just so we can kind of see how this is gonna work, and then we can like scale up. I'm kind of hungry. Anybody hungry? I have to eat. How thick does acrylic glass typically get anyway? Top on Amazon, huh? Good old Amazon. Anyone doing any Amazon shopping recently? How the hell do you spell acrylic? There it is. All right, what can we typically kind of get? 1/8 thick. It's not bad. I would like it to be thicker though, but this gives you multiple pieces. Can I change thickness here? Hello, love. Like I mean, 1/8 makes sense. But for the sake of its rigidity, I would like it to be a bit more, though, I think. I'd be cool with 1/4 of an inch. Oh, this is 1/4 of an inch. This is already cut the size, 12 by 12, 1/4 of an inch. Oh wait, chat, this might actually be fucking perfect. I ain't gonna cut. That's not bad. 12 by 12, I already cut the size. It's 1/4 of an inch thick. That could probably work. I How many does it come with? It's not telling me. Is it telling me? A 1-pack. Is that just one? Quantity. 1 piece. God damn, I gotta pay. I mean, it's not crazy, but like shit. I gotta pay $7.49 per thing, per sheet. I would need 6. And that's assuming it works out. See, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, that's dope. That is sick. All right, so let's plan for that then. I think 1/4 inch makes sense. I was saying 1/2 inch, but I do think 1/2 inch is way too thick. 1/2 inch, I feel like it's way too thick. 1/4 inch, that makes sense. Looking at it on my handy dandy ruler. 1/4 inch makes sense. 1/2 inch, I feel like would just be. It'd probably end up being too heavy too. Like. So let's. I'm just gonna add that to the card so I don't have to find it again. But let's plan for that, and I probably won't do this now. But when I sketch this out and try to figure this out, I will probably I need to figure out the dimensions. So kind of redoing this part. But gauging off of that, probably doing 1/4 inch and then trying to figure out the spacing that everything needs to be, what the measurements would be, see if that will work out. It should. We can make it work, I'm pretty certain. And then once we have that, I will then also create a scaled down version so that we can actually test it out and just try to make one without any imagery or anything like that we don't need to necessarily have anything, but I think that would be kind of good to have. So, yeah, that seems good to me. But I'll do that on my iPad, though. I won't do that now. Because this sketch ain't going to fly. This is not going to fly. It's just a lot harder just to do with the mouse. Granted, I do have my my tablet, but I don't have it plugged in. It's on the bottom. And on top of that, Photoshop is just way better to do things. All right. This was good, chat. This was good. Came into this not knowing what my progress would be, or in terms of what I would do next, but I think we got something. We got somewhere. Kind of figured out like the 6 different layers that we need to create, how we're going to create them. We got the thickness. We found the piece that we'll probably end up using, honestly. It's already cut to size. We know that it's going to be a 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot sort of cube. And we're going to try to create multiple of these, actually, not just one. The goal is to make multiple. But for now, we'll try to make our first one. Hopefully that comes out good and we can make adjustments for the preceding ones. But we'll make a smaller version first and then work with that and see how that goes. But yeah, like I said, just gotta get the sketches down so I know spatially how everything will work, and I can always reference back to that when I'm trying to cut these grooves and shit. But W, cool. What time is it? 5:32. Chat, I got class at 6, unfortunately. So that's a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. But yeah, this won't be the last time that you'll see me doing this stuff. We're going to make some more progress on this. In terms of when that next design stream will be, I already know that it won't be until Thursday. because tomorrow I have some stuff to do for work and an event to go to and stuff like that. Same thing with Wednesday as well, so it just won't make sense in terms of timing. But I'm thinking Thursday we'll be back working on this. Hopefully by then, though, I'll actually have these sketches done, and maybe starting that stream, we'll work on the actual visual image, and we'll kind of not create an official image, but sort of start playing around with the sort of each of those sort of textured components, that being the abstract paint. Obviously we're going to do it digitally, we're going to like fake it, but technically when we do the real thing, it's going to be real paint. But we can kind of just, for the sake of mocking it up and kind of seeing what a visual representation of that layered look will look like, we can do the abstract paint, the Ben-Day dots, we can just grab like a photo. We'll just use ourselves maybe as the human model, the geometrical patterns, the typography, the film texture, and then the AI generated component, which will be one of those that I just mentioned. We'll kind of mess around with that and actually try to create one of these images in each of those different layers, see what that sort of looks like. And so we can kind of get a better sense of how that's going to go. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So like I said, yeah, we'll have another design stream this coming Thursday. In terms of just regular streams, though, with gaming, stuff like that, like I said earlier, I'm not 100% on YouTube doing live streams. The live streams on YouTube are specifically for design-related things. So whether that's working on this thesis, or if I'm just hopping on and I'm doing stuff for work, but I just kind of want to turn the stream on as well, we'll be working on, some simple stuff for work, kind of just hanging out, lo-fi music, the vibes, just kind of hanging out, chilling. We'll work on some stuff there. And yeah, but then anything gaming related, which is typically always around 10:30 EST, we'll hop on and we'll play some stuff there. That's going to be on Twitch. Okay. So all the Twitch streams will be in the nighttime when we're gaming. Okay. Hopefully that kind of clears things up. Maybe I'll kind of create some type of visual, schedule thing, and I'll have that posted or something. I don't know. Maybe if that kind of helps people sort of see, what the schedule is looking like. But yeah, this has been great though, man. I appreciate anyone tuning in, lurking in chat. Sora, appreciate you chatting with me and hanging out with me as well. Hopefully you're still here. If not, appreciate you regardless. And like I said, anyone else who was kind of lurking or whatever, I appreciate you as well. Appreciate the likes as well. We're coming back to content. We're trying to finish out the year strong, so we have a great start to the following year going into 2024. So I just want to make sure that we do the last quarter of the year right, and we start ourselves off on the right foot going into next year. So that's the plan. That is the goal. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will be back live, like I said, later tonight. We're going to be playing something around 10:30 EST. I have class at 6, unfortunately, so I'm going to go eat, kind of hang out for a second before I get on the Zoom call for that and deal with that. And yeah, our next design stream will be this Thursday, though, okay? It's roughly the same time, about 4 p.m. EST. We'll hop on. We'll work on some of the layered components of the thesis project. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. It's been myself, Steven, and I will see you guys later tonight. And if not, this coming Thursday for a design stream. Appreciate you. I'm out of here. Love you guys. Peace out. Bye.